Hello, my name is Rudi Jansen. I came out to the SAICA Cloud Conference in Sandton in September 19. Now, a lot of us have met. It was great being back in South Africa. And for some of us, we've not met yet. But SAICA came to me and said, Rudi, we really want to add lots more value to our members. So please can you record an extra webinar for us that we can give out to them just to create extra value for our SAICA members. So I've put together this presentation. It's only for SAICA members. So I hope you enjoy this bit. So this presentation is all about how to increase your client retention and your client's lifetime value. So a really quick intro in case we haven't met before. My name is Rudi Jansen. I grew up in South Africa. Last 16 years been living in the UK. In South Africa, I qualified as a chartered accountant. In the UK, I stayed as an accountant for a short while before I changed career into becoming a business coach. But the last 8 years, I've been working exclusively only with accountants and accountancy practices. So the majority of my clients are based UK, Ireland, and South Africa, and then a few dotted across the world in other places as well. But from a time zone perspective, that really works very well. So the last 8 years, worked with people literally all over. I also own 3 practices myself. So this came about because I was watching my clients and the process we go through, the results they were getting with their own practices, it got me to go, wow, that's pretty amazing. Why don't I just buy my own practice? So that ended up me just over 2 years ago acquiring my first practice and then a second and a third. And in these practices, I apply exactly the same stuff that I'm going to be teaching you. It's the same principles, and whether you apply these principles in England, South Africa, America, Australia, as an accountancy practice, we're working with human beings, delivering a service. Now, what we deliver in South Africa might be slightly different from what we deliver in England, but the principles of how to run a successful practice remain the same. I've also written a few books. The first one that came out was The Highly Profitable Accountant, and the other one, How to Run a Successful Accountancy Practice in 3 hours per week. And that second one came about because my main business, I'm a business coach to accountants. For me, the accountancy practices are almost, in a way, sideline hobbies. So how do I run those businesses without being present there all the time? And likewise, that's the entire process that I'm teaching my clients. So a lot of what we're going to be sharing here is also linked to that. Okay, so our agenda today, why this whole thing of giving value to our clients is so important, looking at client acquisition versus client retention, defining client retention, and 5 ideas to increase them. So why is this so important? I think it's probably a bit tongue-in-cheek, this one, but here's a good question. Why do most accountancy practices lose clients? If you think about it, why do we lose clients? What's the story we're told? Well, one of the big stories we're told, well, I suppose, let's backtrack slightly. Is it about price? Because often people come and say, the story is, and there's some kind of version of this, the client comes to you and says, or it could just be an email, however it comes, if it even comes like this, is, my brother's wife's friend that she met, so there's this long string of people, and the end is that person has an accountant, and for some reason, mysterious reason, my hands are folded, I have no choice in this matter, and we have to move there. Now, it could either be this long story, and that there's somebody else over there, and my hands are tied, really sorry, or we've got somebody else, and they're so much cheaper. So that's the story we're told. The reality with that is, though, price is a smoke screen response. Our clients tell us that because that's going to create the least conflict. It's a nice thing to say. I'm really sorry, I've got to move there because they're cheaper, or somebody else has made the decision and it's out of my hands. It's the nice way to say what they don't want to say. But what is it that they don't want to say? Because it's not really, for most people, it's not really price. So possible causes might include. Now, an interesting one, there was a study done whereby I can't remember the exact study and the statistics, but essentially what came out of it was that out of this sample of people that were asked these questions, only 14% of them were actually price sensitive. And we all know that to be true, because if all human beings were programmed to be price sensitive, that means we would all be driving the cheapest car. We would all be living in the cheapest houses. We'd all be wearing the cheapest clothes. And that isn't necessarily true. Well, actually, it's not true at all. If you look at the car that you drive, where do you live? What clothes do you wear? Do you truly choose only based on price? And likewise, your clients. Some of them will be driving Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, so it's not a price thing. So why do people go then? And also, the 14% who only buy because it's cheapest, they're probably the people that you do not want as clients. Okay, so why did that change? Number one, the relationship wasn't as strong as it could be. They weren't happy with the overall experience they were receiving. They didn't fully understand the value you're providing for them. Somebody else spoke to their pains, understood their will better. And I often say, especially about the relationship thing, on day one of getting married, we're in the honeymoon phase, it's all very exciting. Our relationship hopefully is a 0 to 10, it's a 10 out of 10. And then life happens, gravity happens naturally. And this 10 out of 10 goes down to a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. And then in a relationship, you've got kids coming along and suddenly it drips even further. But unless we consciously do something to keep that relationship high, 7, 8, 9, or 10, it'll naturally go downwards. That's just gravity. And the same often happens with clients. They'll come in the beginning, you are the best thing since sliced bread. It's 10 out of 10 relationship. Over time, because we focused on acquiring new clients, we may not have the systems in place to keep the relationship going, and it kind of drips down. And then one day a new accountant comes into town with exciting marketing, and it's all very nice. And what with a new accountant would be a 0 out of 10 relationship quickly goes to 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And at some point, if their relationship and the work that they're doing with the prospect, who's not yet their client, becomes a higher number than what our number is, that's the point where we get the message. Our client comes and says, I've met this other guy, much cheaper, we're going to go there. When actually it might not be price. It's the stuff you see on the screen here. So now keep in mind I'm based in England. So some of what I'm referring to here is British and in pounds, but just the principles are exactly the same. But in June 19, there was an article published about a survey that Xero did. So Xero did a survey with 1,500 SMEs, mainly in the UK, with turnovers 20,000 to 20 million pounds. And some interesting statistics here. 70% would not recommend their accountant. That is shocking. Or it could be really good news for you. 27% likely to switch accountants soon. 62% said accountant rarely provided support. 52% said accountant was unresponsive. 44% said accountant didn't provide enough value. Now, you could look at it and say, Rudi, you live in England and those are English statistics, it doesn't apply in South Africa. And I would turn around and say, I'm probably going to disagree with you. I don't quite know what the statistics are in South Africa, but they're probably not too far away from that. But interesting or shocking, whichever way you look at it. So all of this can be avoided by focusing on improving client experience and retention. So, what we do is we're accountants. We deliver the accounting service. So what we're talking about here is adding an extra layer of stuff that you don't naturally do. It's building your business elements that change the experience for the client. So, client acquisition versus client retention. Let's take a look at this. The one is the hunt, and the other one is the nurturing and keeping it alive. So, when I stand in front of a group of people and say, who invests time and money into winning new clients? A fair amount of hands will go up. for this one. This question: who invests time and money into actively retaining clients and improving their experience? When I ask this question, far fewer hands will go up in the audience because it's just not really what we think about. Yet this is a massive, massive key to building your business, your accountancy practice. And as much as this is true for your accountancy practice, it will be true for the businesses of your clients. Most businesses structure entirely around client acquisition, not client retention. And yet the one is much more expensive than the other. A lot of practice owners think more clients is a silver bullet for growth. In most initial conversations that I have with accountants, when I say, Rudy, I've got a lot of trouble in my practice, can you help me? All I need is just more clients. And that's the point where my eyes kind of roll and glaze over, because yes, we do need more clients, but usually there's a lot of foundations we just need to fix first. When we fix the foundations, we can build on that. But this is not necessarily the silver bullet that's going to save all your problems. And actually, for a lot of people, if they just got a whole bunch of new clients tomorrow, the infrastructure they've got can't actually cope with that. So it's not necessarily the answer. It's about fixing it from the inside out. So let's look at statistics here. And again, we all know that statistics we could do. Yeah, here's my stats. But let's just go with some of the principles, the numbers here. It costs 5 times more to attract new clients than to retain existing ones. Is that 100% accurate? I don't know. Does it feel kind of right? Yes. Only 40% of companies have equal focus on client acquisition and client retention. And if you haven't got a massive focus on client retention yet, that's great, because that is an opportunity for you. The probability of selling to an existing client is 60 to 70%. The probability of selling to a new prospect is much, much smaller, 5 to 20%. Increasing client retention by just 5% can increase profits by 25 to 95%. Ridiculous. So let's take a look at client retention and lifetime value. Again, important principles here. So client retention is the activities and actions companies take to reduce defections and retain clients over a period of time. That's client retention. So let's take a look at the formula here. Now, I'm always nervous of sharing this formula with fellow accountants because there's numbers in there and you might pick up and go, I don't agree with this formula, but let's just go with some of the principles. Even if you don't 100% agree with my formula, just go with the flow, okay? So, number of clients at end of period, less clients acquired during periods, divide by clients at start of period, times by 100. So, let's say 100 clients, gain 36 new clients, 11 clients have left, we end with 125. So our formula would give us that as a client retention percentage, 89%. Okay, let's go with the formula. So, client lifetime value. And that's the value clients are worth to you over a period of time. Now, again, I'm going to speak in pound numbers here. Just go with the principles. So let's say you've got 200 clients as a number, an annual revenue of £300,000. That makes the average client worth £1,000 a year. If the average client retention length is 10 years, then over the next 10 years, the client's worth 15,000. Add an extra zero. Now again, just playing with numbers here, just go with the principles. If on average each client refers 3 new clients to you every year, this nets you, again, 1,500 times 3, 4,500 per year, which is worth 45,000 over the next 10 years. Now, these numbers may not apply in your world, but just go with the principles. That's the key here. So the average client lifetime value over the next 10 years is not just that one client, but also all the others that refer to you. And like I said, just go with the principles. Massively, massively important. If in your practice you have not got a lot of referrals coming into you, then that is a loud message that your current clients are sending to you that they're not particularly impressed, satisfied with what you're doing, or they don't even know what else you can do for them. There's not enough communication. So how do we increase client retention and your client's lifetime value? Because when we can do this, it can massively impact what's happening in your practice. Now, increasing client retention and lifetime value, I'm going to share with you 5 ideas. Normally, when I'm in an audience where everybody can be talking, I would get people to sit for a few minutes together and brainstorm ideas. And the number of ideas that come up are ridiculous. Now, I'm going to share 5 with you. But again, if you just sat down with your team and asked for ideas, I would bet that there would be many, many more ideas beyond the 5 I'm about to mention. But here are 5 ideas. Number 1, ask more of the right questions. A lot of it's just conversation, speaking. So that might include, what do you want your business to look like in 10 years' time? It's got nothing to do with compliance and tax and current. It's what's your dream? What's your vision? Number 2 there, what are your personal goals next 3 to 5 years? How much money would you need to be able to live life on your terms? It's all about, what do you want? Those are great questions. And you're not meant to go in there with, I have these ideas of where this conversation is going to go. Just have conversations. And from those conversations will flow, I want to go there. And in order to go there, I need to do A, B, and C. Who do you know that can help me with A, B, and C? Well, interestingly, we can help you with A, B, and maybe even C. That's how the conversations flow. Because questions like these deepen the relationship. It shows understanding of their world, and it absolutely uncovers additional opportunities to help them. Massively, just by having conversations. Okay, number 2, systemize your referrals process to generate more referrals from your existing clients. So again, where I come from, I look at what is the system sitting behind everything. There's a system, it'll work. I was actually in an airport just yesterday and sitting at McDonald's in an airport. And I was wondering to myself, because that specific McDonald's was actually in Madrid in Spain. And I don't recall ever having seen a McDonald's in an airport. But this one was super busy. It was myself, my wife, and our 2 kids. We walked in and there was this long queue. And I thought, wow, it's going to take forever. It took minutes because McDonald's, they're fast. But in the period that we sat there, because they run this numbering system from, I think it's 1 to 100. Our number was number 2, that's what we got. By the time we left there, we weren't there very long. By the time we left the McDonald's, they were on number 47. So it's just literally people coming and going, as airports, restaurants. And it struck me, if I ran my accountancy practice like McDonald's runs their restaurant, what would happen in my practice? And likewise, if McDonald's run their restaurant like I run my accountancy practice, what would happen? And I think that's true for a lot of us. If we take the systems, now McDonald's is just an example, but one thing they're strong on is their systems. And likewise, when we take our accountancy practice and we systemize every bit of it, that's a huge amount of power sitting there. But one of those places is how systemized is our referrals process. Does it kind of happen by accident once in a while? Do we send out letters systematically once a year asking for this? Is it on the bottom of our email footers reminding people that we're looking for referrals? Is it on our meeting, our year-end meetings? Is it part of our agenda to ask? However it happens, there's a system for it that you could, I won't say easily build. Got to think it through, build it. But once it's in place, it's a system that's there. But do we have such a system? Yes or no? Kind of. Massive key. And again, just taking a look at some numbers here. Now, I don't think I can move this video. Oh, I can. Let me move that out of the way there so you can see the numbers. Okay, clients. So again, just going to principles here. So if we have so many clients, annual revenue, average every 10 years, average referrals per client. Again, you can see the number difference at the bottom line. It's going to be better if we've got a system around referrals. Okay, let me just move that video back so it's in that place. Okay. Number 3, focus on the entire client experience. Again, very, very important here. And again, this is part of building the business, because that is what I help my clients with. Let's build your business step by step by step. And typically the process takes anywhere between 1 to 3 years, 12 to 36 months. But over that period, we systemize bit by bit by bit. And once you systemize your entire business, your entire accounting practice, ultimately, it could get to the place where it can work without you. And how amazing is that? And I always say, accounting practices, the business model is amazing. You've got to work on getting clients in. Once they're in, you've got to do a half good job with them, and they'll stay with you for the next 10 years. And if you do a half good job, they'll even tell their friends about you. So it's an amazing business model that you have. Why not just keep on tweaking it till you've built this machine that could work without you, if that's your choice, and it absolutely is possible. And, then you have space and time and money coming in to do what you want in life. I think it's an amazing business model. But in any case, another system mapping out the entire client journey and plot interactions they have. So it's literally brainstorming, getting to a team. What are all the steps from beginning to end? What's the customer's journey? How can we make that experience better? To make that experience better, they are more wowed. The more they're wowed, the more business they bring to us, the more people they tell about us. And the more they'll spend with us, because there's more things we can help them with. So that's a little bit there. Marginal gains. I think it's important to remind you probably about this. The 1% increase, 1% here, 1% there. Those marginal increases over a period of time have a massive impact. So it's not about how do I change my entire business in the next month. It's about how do we keep on tweaking little bits here and there continuously to make this massive growth over a period of time. So let me share with you a few examples. Now let me just again take that video out of the way there, put it in the middle, no, let's take it down to the bottom there. Okay, let's move really around the screen here. So again, just a few examples, but take from it, so the example, what might normally happen, how could we tweak it, and what's the experience for the client. So the example here is what happens next. Normal interaction is an initial verbal discussion during, for example, a sales meeting about next steps. The improved interaction, send new clients an infographic with exact steps of what will happen and when during the first 60 days. Experience for the client, they have much more clarity. They're not left feeling unsure about what happens next. It's just an example. Let's go to the next one. Learning about the technology the firm uses and how it works. So maybe the normal interaction might be we send through an email regarding technology setup, and possibly we do an in-office demo. What if we do an in-office demo where possible, plus we create a private YouTube channel with training videos for all technology used by clients. Even this recording I'm doing right now, it's recording my screen, a video of me talking. It's simple, inexpensive to create things like this. And we could do this on, this is how we use Xero, this is how we use QuickBooks, this is how we use Receipt Bank, whatever technology you're using, whatever it might be. And there's other ways to share screens. Zoom, as an example, uses video technology. So I can call the client, so it's a bit like Skype, Zoom, simple, but with Zoom definitely can share a screen. You can take control of the other person's screen, so they've got a problem with their QuickBooks that you've told them to install, whatever. You can talk them through it. You can get onto their screen and move their mouse around and do things for them, or however it is. But using this kind of technology, but hey, I'm kind of side-tracking here, but just examples. Experience for the client here, they know where to go for information, they feel supported. Okay, let's get really back up to the top again. Here's another important one. Fire your D-class clients. So we've got our A-plus clients. We don't want more than 20 of those. They are the amazing people. And I'll go for lunch with them once a month if I have to, whatever it is. So A-plus clients, A clients, B clients, C clients. D clients, definitely they're dead, get rid of them. And time spent here is time that you're not spending with your A, B, and C clients. The D clients often, they don't pay you, they suck up your time. It's dead. You know it is. You don't want to be there. Move those clients on. Do yourself a favor. Okay, document best practice retention strategy. So again, sitting down with your team and brainstorming ideas, then ask them to create that strategy. Asking them because the person who says it owns it. Very important, the person who says it owns it. So I don't necessarily want to create the strategy and all the documents. Let's figure out who's going to take responsibility for which bits and create it. Let's create a whole standardized way of doing it. Let's create a McDonald's way. Now, I may not necessarily think that McDonald's food is the best on the planet by a long shot, but their systems are awesome. And likewise, how can we systemize this? Okay, so a recap on all of this. Price is a smokescreen. It's a symptom, it's not the cause. To avoid this happening, you need to focus on client retention and increasing the lifetime value. It costs 5 times more to attract new clients than to retain existing ones. Increasing client retention by just 5% can increase profits by 25% to 95%. Number one, ask more of the right questions. Just have conversations. Pretty simple on the face of it, very powerful. Number two, systemize your referrals process to generate more referrals from existing clients. Number three, focus on the entire client experience. Get rid of those D-class clients. Document best practice retention strategy. Okay, so I hope that's been some help for you, some great ideas there. If you do want to chat some more or want some help, feel free to get in touch with me. If you just Google my name, you'll find me. My website, rudijansen.com, there's a link that you can click on as well or get into. Feel free to ask questions. It's by asking questions that you can build and become better. Okay, so no Q&A in this session because it's obviously a recorded webinar for you. But like I say, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Okay, trust that's been valuable to you, and bye for now.